You've tuned into Bellingham Podcast Media Tech for the week of March 5th, 2017, episode 30. From the city of sickly, subdued excitement, I'm AJ Barce.
And from the caffeinated corner of the Northwest, I am Chris Powell. On this episode, AJ and I brew up a dark blend of technology, all relating to coffee. We'll spill the beans and slow roast the conversation. We're serving it up right now on BPM Tech.
Well, in a little bit, we will be serving it up, both in a cup and on a mic. Chris, how are you doing?
It's good to be back, amigo. We had a little bit of time off for various projects and various sicknesses and various weather conditions. So happy friggin' March.
Happy March, dude. And if anybody's listening and they feel a little bit of a rasp coming from me, it's because this is the loudest my voice has been in a week.
Well, a couple episodes ago, I had my 1-900 voice
on
display.
Like
and so I don't know if I gave it to you or not, or if Whatcom County gave it to you. But February was a rough month. Yes. Gone February, right?
Yes, yes, Merry March is here, and I am looking forward to feeling healthy and no more snow.
That's right.
No more snow.
So
no snow for you.
No snow for you. We're done with it, although this weekend we'll see, but I'm not even going to jinx it.
No.
So this episode that I think you wanted to take the lead on for coffee and technology and other things like that. This is great. This hits the wheelhouse in the Venn diagram of what we talk about, right? Where have we recorded our podcast from? Coffee shops. What do we talk about? Technology. You put them together, you got CofiTech.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, so for this episode, I wanted backstory of why this came about. Since my remodel of my house last year, my wife and I have been on the hunt for an espresso machine because, one, that saves us cashola. As much as I would not be going to local coffee houses, I still would with you once a week.
Yes.
But this would help curb that. And then also, much like I've talked about before, like I like having an analog weekend, like especially my Saturday mornings pre-sun. You know, I was very much into getting my journal out, making a good cup of coffee. And I wanted to keep fostering that. But I now have a 6-month-old. It's not easy for me to zen out in my whole coffeeness. The thing is that you don't have a lot of time as a new parent, right? But you need caffeine. Like that is a necessity. And it was hard for me to do my normal routine without, having some sort of automation. So I look towards machines, right? And I'm not about to spend gobs and gobs of money on this like Espresso Palooza 9000 that costs like $900 that's hand polished from some guy in Italy. And on top of that, it takes up counter space. And when it comes to the kitchen, I am minimal like you in like your day-to-day ops. When it comes to my kitchen space, when you step into my kitchen, when we get to that, you will notice what is not on my countertop. We don't carry a lot of stuff in our kitchen. I don't have a microwave. It's not because I'm tinfoil hat or anything like that, but we make do with cooking the way cooking should be, and that should be with either a flame or, in our case, an induction cooktop or oven. That's it.
We call you old school.
I'm old school.
I like it.
And it's minimal, and some people look at us weird, like, you don't have a microwave? Yeah, we don't have a microwave. And I don't miss it. It's this big Horkin, to quote you,
yes,
big Horkin box that just lives on your countertop. But anyway, my main thing about having an espresso machine or coffee maker is I want it to be in the same vein as like slow coffee. Like I will go on the record right now and state I hate K-cups and crups and all that other stuff.
March 2017, AJ Barce, not a fan of Keurig.
I do not like Keurig. In full disclosure, I had a Keurig for 48 hours. I actually went out and I bought one. This was many moons ago, okay, before they tried to, make you can't use anybody else's pods but them thing. Had one. I even had the little preloader so I can make my own coffee. Worst cup of coffee I've ever had in my life.
For those of you that are fans of Keurig, hashtag BHAM podcast on Twitter.
And light
should
me up.
You want to light AJ up.
So here's the thing, right? Like I will give a tip of the hat to what it is. It is Instant Coffee 2.0. If you like instant coffee, which sometimes I do, I have a little jar, very little jar of instant coffee for those mornings where I've been up for however many hours and I literally have no strength to make a cup of coffee. I will use instant coffee. That is what Krups is in my book. Okay, K-Cups, whatever. Nespresso, it's all over Europe. They have little Nespresso machines in pretty much every hotel. Cool, good on you. Flavor-wise, I give a tip of the hat to Nespresso just because it's concentrated, and K-Cups really isn't. Like, it just, I don't like the flavors. But in either case, it makes more waste. I don't know if you know this about my wife, but she's an environmentalist. That's a no bueno.
That's a showstopper.
Yeah, and one thing I just don't understand about this, with all this great technology, why don't they have like biodegradable cups? I think that would be good PR on their front, and two, it would negate that whole thing. Like, I have a problem with every cup of coffee, and I drink a lot of coffee in a day. That's a lot of waste.
All right.
So that's out. -1 for non-composting, -1 for the cost. I mean, it costs a lot to make those instant cups of coffee. But +1 for convenience. That's all they're good for.
Well, I'm notice how I'm not jumping in with a lot of stuff because I am a well-established newbie when it comes to coffee. I'm annoyingly naive as far as the ins and outs. Like when we recorded our episode in Primer, I had no idea what was going on. I said, "Make me something tasty."
It was tasty.
It was tasty, and it was good. But normally, I'm one of these bell curve people that says, what would you like? Cedar mocha or tall mocha with whipped cream.
Right.
And I don't need a lot of fancy. Okay, but I applaud you for diving deep into the knowledge of what you're ingesting into your body.
Sure.
And also, kudos for finding a way to be able to save a little bit of money in the long run.
Right.
We should reflect back at the end of the summer. How was, you purchased an espresso machine that we're going to talk about in a little bit. How has the number crunching evolved versus going to a well-known independent coffee house or making it at home?
Chris, I can tell you already, I purchased this before Snowmageddon.
Okay.
I've had the machine for roughly, at the time of this recording, just shy of 3 weeks. It has already paid for itself.
That's impressive. Tell me about this espresso machine.
So this machine that has been eluding in mystery, right, now this is great. This is a handmade machine.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Right. It's handmade from Sicily. Okay. Now, when I say that, people are like, "Oh my gosh, this is probably like Ferrari or Lamborghini." It's close. It's called Chimera. Chimera. Not like a chimera, but Kamira.
Kimera.
No, Ka.
K.
So it's Chimera. That's why I was pausing. It's Chimera. Like, it sounds like camera.
Yeah, it looks
right?
like it.
Which fits me, right?
Uh-huh.
So anyway, Chimera, it's all steel. And when you take a look at this, Chris, and we're going to actually have Chris Powell on the mic. You're going to hear it. Taste
I'm
this tasty.
I'm the guest guinea pig for
right.
this. Yeah.
So welcome to my cocina, amigo.
It's good to be here. Yes, I've been here before pre-renovation and post-renovation.
Right.
So you're fixing up for me a cup of Java.
Yeah. So what I got in front of you? This is the Chimera. That's it.
Okay.
Like 11 inches tall.
Around that, and what I wasn't picturing as you were describing it, I'm picturing one of those big Horkin espresso machines you see in coffee shops. This is an actual little. You could hit someone over the head with this.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's not heavy or anything like that.
Right, it's a very light, portable object to take with you on the road.
Yeah, you could do that camping. I totally could.
It looks like an umbrella handle with a metallic base.
Okay.
And for those of you that don't know or haven't seen a Chimera before,
what's cool about this is I have both a double shot and single shot. I don't know what these are. Baskets, I guess, for the actual espresso. So I want to make you up a double in decaf per your request.
Okay, sounds good.
So what's cool about this is, so all I got to do, I've already, to save the audience, I've already ground this up
pre-ground for our listening enjoyment.
Right. As I mentioned before, I would just do this on the fly.
Yes.
So all I'm going to do is put my scoop in, and I'm going to shave the top. And I'm not going to tamp this down because I prefer to have them loose. I think it pulls a better shot on this machine.
Okay. So you don't do the pat, 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 pat.
No, I've done both, and with this ground, because I did this ground a little bit too fine, and so to kind of prevent compaction, I leave it a little bit looser.
I'm drawing a parallel to a question: do you tamp grounds or do you let them loose? Compared with the computer tech question: should I shut down my computer at night or should I leave it running overnight?
Yeah.
It depends on who you ask.
It depends on who you ask. This whole thing is the entire machine. There's a little gasket inside that you can pull out to clean. But all I'm going to do is put this guy in like so. And I got my little handy dandy shot glass. I'm going to put underneath both nozzles. I can do 2 shots or 1, but for yourself, I'm going to do just the 2 into 1 cup. So what I just flipped open right here, this is actually where the water goes. So it's kind of like a perk, but instead of the grounds and the water living in each other, the reservoir is separate from the actual top.
You got to keep them separated.
That's right. I'm going to flip this little lever to keep the water in the actual reservoir. So I'm just going to pour it in. And if I spill, it's no big deal. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now what's cool is that if I pull this lever down, the water will start to drain.
Yes. Kind of like a bathtub.
And then it goes into this base. This base is the actual thing that actually gets heated. And I did promise this takes 2 minutes, but for explanation for radio purposes, I'm actually going a little bit over here. This little ball right here is actually a pressure relief valve. So in case it does superheat by accident, you don't have a pressure cooker that blows up on you.
And you get the fine sound, right?
Exactly. This little black thing is the only part that you get to grab once it's heated because everything is metal. It's hot. So I'm going to go ahead.
Hence the umbrella stand, right? You have a musical induction.
It's radio approved stovetop right here.
Oh my goodness, this is FCC worthy. Huh?
Right. So I'm going to turn on my stovetop, and because I have a very hot stovetop, I'm just going to put it at 5. And that will start. You can start your watches if we sync our watches up together here. This starts our 2 minute, less than 2 minute time.
This is a 2 minute warning.
Yes, this is your 2 minute warning. So while we're waiting for this to go,
you're listening to KMRE 102.3 FM, Bellingham's low power community radio station.
I like that. That was good. It's almost like we planned that. We really didn't. So what we're waiting for is my stovetop's going to heat this base, and we're going to wait for about 15 bars of pressure to get built. There's no gauge.
Explain that for the coffee noob like me.
So coffee aficionados state that an espresso, a true espresso, is not pulled unless you have at least 15 bars of pressure. And bar is just a measure of the actual weight of steam that's getting pushed through. So I'm going to put my mic down so you can hear this.
I see. Now we have a little bit of water steaming condensation from the induction stove, but I see the little drips of coffee goodness coming up.
Yep, it's glorious.
And so this is pretty much just beans and hot water.
And
you just set it and
set it and forget it. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't forget it. That would be bad.
But this is a rather the slow food movement is also applying to coffee now.
Exactly. And of course, like I mentioned before, if you know where your beans come from, like everything that I disclosed in the show, like this thing comes from Sicily, my beans. These beans that you're having actually is Fairhaven's finest. It's Tony's Coffee. They're decaf.
For my enjoyment so I can sleep tonight. Yes.
Exactly. So you can tell that it's dripping out of both. I want to call them extruders because that's what we call them in 3D printing. But both heads, I guess, for the
both spouts.
Both spouts, and it'll start sputtering and stuff, and you can see that crema starting.
It's all about the crema. It's all about the crema. No whipped cream.
Wow, wow, Chris! I did not realize you were going to go there.
Yeah, I'm the parent of a teenager. Don't judge. So this is looking rather interesting.
Right. And if you look at your watch, it's been almost exactly 2 minutes.
I'm going to move my microphone towards the sound. That's the sizzle of coffee goodness right there.
Exactly. So what do you do to kind of stop the process, right? Because you can tell your shot or double shot, I should say, is pretty much full right now. So I'm going to stop the process by turning off the stove top, and it still has pressure built up. So what we need to do, this is the fun part, we get to relieve it.
That is going to be my next ringtone. I like that.
And that stops the entire process. And I'm going to give it to you, and you tell me how it is. And like I said, no cream, no sugar. That's just a straight pull shot.
So like those field reports on NPR where you really can't see what's happening, I'm describing. So I'm going to take a sip now. It definitely is not boiling hot, which is one of the laments I have about a typical cup of coffee. The taste is definitely not like regular drip coffee. It's customized to go with beans. And the foam or the crema de la crema is a nice touch on top just from how the whole experience is. It's not quite all liquid, which is great. I'm going to take another sip.
While you're doing that, the other thing is that typically I would preheat the cup because traditionally I've been told that's what Italians would do is they preheat their cups before they pull their shot. So that would have elevated the coffee, but I wanted you to drink it. So
I'm rather impressed with the whole setup. This is an individual coffee that is not meant to be glugged. Yeah. This is meant to be sipped over the course of an afternoon on a cafe on the Champs-Elysees.
Or, the Italian Riviera in Beeham, Washington.
Or maybe the Lake Samish or something like that.
But for the entire process, now, I had my grounds pre-ground for this pre-recording, but you're in K-Cup territory right here. Like
just about, yeah.
And on top of that, cleanup is as simple as I turn this and take the head out. I dump my grinds. I clean this, and I'm done. The only I could either recycle or compost my coffee grounds or put it out in my garden. There is no waste, and that's the other benefit to this method.
So that was about 5 sips of coffee goodness that I had in that little mini coffee cup shot. And for your morning jolt of caffeine that you would be normally having, do you really need to have 16 ounces or 20 ounces? You're looking to get the caffeine drug in your system. But that was a tasty beverage.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And the whole process to watch it is definitely a conversation piece.
Yeah.
And so this is, and the Chimera logo, made in Italy, is right on the base of the thing, Kamira. Check out the link in the show notes to go to the site to check it out. But that was a pretty cool cup of coffee.
Cool. Let's go back to studio. So with that cup of coffee, okay, here's what we had. Okay, we have this machine is $100, Amazon Prime free shipping. It works on electric. It works on induction, which is what I'm cooking on today. It works on gas stoves. And it was quick. I mean, your espresso basically piped out in less than 2 minutes, okay? No moving parts, no nothing.
So you did the research naturally. I was not expecting to hear those 2 words that we talk about a whole lot, Amazon Prime. I also was not expecting to hear $100.
Yep.
A totally metal espresso machine, handmade from Sicily.
Yes.
That's a find that we're going to put in the show notes.
Oh, yes, it is. Right. And what's great is you can do a double, you can do a single. And like I said, it has been the best thing. And the other thing is that I have an induction top. There's not a lot of induction cooking in the United States. It's bigger abroad. And because this comes from abroad, making it all steel, my go-to before this was my Bialetti. Bialetti, by the way, you've probably seen it. It's that kind of octagonal, almost looks like a hourglass, but it's octagonal, and it's a percolator. Made in Italy as well. I've had one. I still use it. Fun fact, it was originally patented in Italy in 1933. And so it is, when anybody talks about Bialetti, you're talking about a mocha pot. And I love that percolator. But much like most perks, the coffee sits in the basket down below. So you kind of get a little bit of metallic taste. And I'm trying to get away with that in this Chimera. Gets away with that because it shoots out. It builds up 15 bars of pressure minimum to make the espresso. There's no cables. There's no plugs. It is the most clean and efficient way I've seen to date, short of hand espresso makers, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But super cool. I highly encourage anybody to check it out. You can get it on Amazon Prime. $100, best thing. And it's paid for itself. I've had, during the snowpocalypse, trust me, had a lot of coffee. And it's fast. And the cleanup, super sweet.
2 minutes is not bad. 2 minutes is not bad if you're talking Starbucksian time frame. That is rather adequate.
Yep. So tell me a little bit about your coffee culture.
Well, coffee culture. So I wrote an essay way back when, before I really got into my content creation kick. So I wrote an essay about my love-hate relationship with coffee culture. And my father, growing up, had, sing along if you know the words, these big aluminum tubs of U-Ban coffee already ground up, and he would drink about maybe 10 cups a day. And my dad was 5'7", and so that maybe caffeine has an effect on your height. I don't know, but I grew up. He let me try it, and it was always bitter. And okay, fair enough, because he didn't do any of this 5 adjective ordering of your customized drink.
Dual shot, what is that? Short pull, breve, no whip, half calf. Mochaccino?
So you got 6.
I tried.
I'm already laughing at you internally. But anyway, no, he had his coffee black, did not put any sugar or cream. And this was what I grew up with. But then I'm a young professional out of college in the mid-90s. And a coworker of mine, I was having one of those case of the Mondays, and one of my coworkers said, let's go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee. What? I don't drink coffee. He said, come on, let's go. So he got me a tall mocha it was like liquid candy. And I'm like, oh. And so I've just pretty much stuck with that. However, I am married to a gal who digs her coffee, and she does her evening ritual to prepare the coffee for the morning because, you want to be able to just hit a button and let her rip. I have an accessory. I don't know if you have this or not.
I don't.
You don't. I have an accessory that back a couple years ago was one of the best Christmas presents I got for my wife. Guys, listen up. This is called a coffee vac. Great description. It's $15 on Amazon, probably Prime. And what this is, it is an airtight coffee bean container. Keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
A lot longer. And so basically, you want to keep the beans fresh. Normally you'd store them in the freezer. She puts these beans in this coffee vac and just sticks it in the cupboard, has the grinder, boom, you're good to go. Best $15 you can spend if you are a coffee connoisseur or if you do your coffee at home.
It's on my Amazon list as we speak.
There you go. And one other thing that I did a little bit of checking in order to try to hang with you in this CofiTech episode.
Oh, bro, you hanging. We hanging.
But for those of us out there, we see it all the time. There are people walking to work or walking around in the office with a travel mug or a travel container for your drink. What kind of recommendation would I, as a podcaster, as a person who doesn't know anything about coffee but knows a good deal, what would I recommend? Well, there's a website out there, ladies and gentlemen, called thesweethome.com. Thesweethome.com does reviews on many household items and gives you best recommendations on there. It's like Consumer Reports for the modern internet generation.
I love podcasting with you. I learn so much every week.
So I took a look at thesweethome.com, and the best travel mug that they have is a Zojirushi. I'm hoping that's from Japan. Zojirushi 16-ounce stainless steel mug. It's $26, available on Amazon. Once again, you can get one of these containers that you can get for $4.99 in your local department store.
Plastic.
If you're going to put steaming hot liquid in a plastic container, you're going to have to buy the stuff over and over again.
I see it every day.
Simon says drop some good coin on the container that you're going to be taking along with you. It's going to last you a long time. You're going to enjoy your product that much more. One other thing is you got to be able to clean your stainless steel container. You don't want to be having residue of previous coffee drinks from the past. Lingering and that weird smell. So they also recommend, those at thesweethome.com, go to OXO Good Grips water bottle cleaning set. Yeah. Not just for your coffee travel mug, but any water bottle that you also use. Now, you can get it on Amazon for about $13.50, or go to your latest retail store that may be in your town in the strip mall area. That has there are 3 words and it starts with B on most of them. Or your favorite local department store. So OXO Good Grips water bottle cleaning set, they recommend that for keeping your instrument of drinking repertoire clean.
I like it.
There you go.
On that note, let's talk about what we are working on and wrap this show up and down this last bit of coffee. What? So you already mentioned it. We got a lot of things going on and stuff. What is going on in Chris Powell land? Because I have inside baseball and I can't say anything until you say I can. So what are you working on?
I'm just working on being a better person every day. And I fail at times and I win the day at times.
I meant projects, not personal development.
So I was able to, I talked about this early on in the year, and I'm starting the process. But I have always wanted, since the mid 90s, I've always wanted to host my own radio show. Specifically, no, not a headbanger ball, 80s hard rock.
That would have been my second guess.
Second guess.
I'm going to guess it rhymes with rambience.
Yes, I've always wanted to have a down-tempo, quiet music radio show where I can DJ, quote unquote, and play songs that I want to play. Well, I was able to do it, and I'm off and running. And should you be interested, you're welcome to listen to the Quiet Music Project on Mixcloud FM or Mixcloud.com. It's a 30-minute journey where we let our mind relax and enjoy some serene sonic soundscapes. So I got that going on.
Yeah, I know. I have been like, the moment you said that you had it up in beta, and I was like, I'm down. I will tell it for the record. The moment you put that thing up, that very night, I crashed to your show. I fell asleep to your show.
Well, it's
awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's fun. I'm going to keep doing those episodes because I have 20 years of ambient music that I've listened to, and I feel like there may be others that would enjoy listening to it. So you can listen. We'll put some links in the show notes, but if you want to go to quietmusic.net, that's a website I have set up. It's a very svelte, minimal website, but I upload the episodes for you to stream on your mobile device or desktop computer if you wish. There may be some opportunities to listen to the Quiet Music Project and other sources of media in the future. Stay tuned. No pun intended.
And I before you jump and say, like, give me a plug like you normally do, I am going to jump in first, okay?
All right.
Because here's the thing. 5 years ago, I've known you for 5 years.
Yep.
I don't know if you knew that.
Half
5 years
decade.
ago. 5 years ago, I was like, ambient what? Like, is that dolphin songs and crystals and whales? And then you introduced me to, like, you know, the whole concept of like ambient noise, like when you go to a coffee house and stuff, and how that can greatly move a person's mood. And also like the fact that even just the ambient noise in the background kind of helps your brain kind of either, I'm going to call it detox from the day and stuff. And at first I'm just like, cool, you're weird, but cool. Since then, I very much appreciate that whole, ladies and gentlemen who are listening, okay? When you listen to Mr. Powell rock the mic, and it's not rocking, it's very subdued when he talks on that show, you're also not just listening to his curation, but you're also listening to his soundscape that has been sculpted over, I don't know how many years. You have, much like you just lauded my coffee culture, you are very much in the minimal and ambient like culture that is around there. So what your selections are very much can move a person's mood, and I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, amigo. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say, but have you noticed that the world is loud?
Yes. Have you heard me?
Well, we're both loud. We get to use our outdoor voice at times, but just the world in general, wherever we go, it's loud.
Yeah.
And I can't handle that. I get jittery, I get agitated, and the Quiet Music Project is my attempt to try to bring some softness into this world from an audio standpoint.
That's awesome. That's awesome. For me, I'm just doing, I've been working on my Patreon, and you have Inside Baseball and what I've got coming up in a couple months, but I've been working a lot on my past photography trips. I have some shots from the Smoky Mountains when I was over in North Carolina, South Carolina, that I'm working on, and my patrons have seen a couple of shots from that. I also had to record my monthly vlog that I do with no voice.
Oh boy.
That was hard. Had to rely on visual and lots of text, which is not my teaching forte. I don't like doing that. I like being able to describe things, but I ended up doing it. So I'm still doing a vlog a month for my evergreen Patreon patrons, and you can find all that information out at patreon.com/AJ Barce.
Very good. So. Sounds good. Let's rinse this podcast out and put it in the dishwasher dryer. What do you say?
Okay, sure.
I'm just trying
I
my
was going
best.
to say, let's just huck the grounds and call it good.
All
But
right,
okay.
sounds good.
On that note, that wraps it up for this edition of BPM Tech. Thank you again so much for listening to us, rating us, reviewing us on iTunes, on Google Play, on SoundCloud or Spreaker, or wherever the heck else you love to podcast. Also, be sure you check us out on BellinghamPodcast.com. That is our home site, because every so often Chris Powell and I post some bonus features that only are available on the website, nowhere else. Also, if you're in the Bellingham area, be sure that you check us out on
KMRE FM 102.3 low power. Thursdays at 9 a.m., Saturdays at 1:30 p.m.
Yep. And so be sure to tune us there. That wraps up for this edition. Thank you again so much for listening. I'm AJ Barce.
And I'm Chris Powell. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time on BPM Tech.
And caffeinate. No, I'm just kidding.